This video is made possible by our patrons.
Hi guys, Liam and the team here. We joined with John, Dan, Mark and Luke today for another TTS back rep. Today, the list that's going to be used is 3 cities, or Cities of Sigmar, versus Kharadron Overlords. So, I believe John's got the first turn, if I'm correct, guys.
That is correct.
And whilst they're doing their first turn, we shall go into their lists. So if we go to Army List 1. So this is the Cities of Sigmar by Luke. So what does this list go over, guys, Dan? What does this list do?
So, living cities. The main thing I always keep in mind when I'm playing against a living city player is that half their stuff is going to be off the board. So you can see here that Luke has put the Luminarchs, which are going to be really, really key in this fight, off the board, along with the Hurricanum and the Fulminators, which means that John's going to have the very hard task of trying to screen all that off. When I say screen, I mean like put units in such a way that when Luke does come on the board, that he can't really get where he wants, he can't shoot where he wants, he can't capture stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to see come Luke's first turn. Interesting that John has decided to go first, because that does mean that he could be weathering 2 whole turns of the Cities of Sigmar shooting, which we'll go into in a bit, but I think that could be game over right there. What do you think? Dan's a more seasoned Kharadron Overlords player than I am, so what do you think about that, Dan?
Yes, it's an interesting one. I mean, John, I can see why John's taken first, really. It allows him to put his boats, which, for those of you who don't know, they can essentially redeploy anywhere on the battlefield outside of 9 inches of enemy units. So it really allows John to have some board presence and to screen out those units that are coming on from reserve from Luke. If he can put Luke in a difficult position and restrain him back to his own deployment zone and allow him to not put those Luminarchs where Luke wants to, it could really help John. But yeah, like you say, it's the prospect of facing 2 turns of that shooting is a difficult one to balance. So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think turn rolls are going to be really important here, like they often are.
They just take them off of you, yeah.
Yes. So what we are probably going to see with this first turn, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, is we're probably going to see that Warp Lightning Vortex in that... what is the artifact called? Can you remind me?
Spell in the Bottle.
Spell in the Bottle. The one that you will see in just about every Kharadron Overlist that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a really big benefit of the Skyport, the sub action that John's running today. It allows him once per game to make a hero phase move, which does include a fly high, which is that redeploy that I talked about earlier. So what that means he can do is he can pick up one of the boats with the Aether Chemist, which is one of the characters. He sits inside it, pick that boat up, put it 9 inches away from Luke's army, and then deploy the Warp Lightning Vortex, which I know you know a lot about, Mark, so you can talk us through how that...
As a Skaven player, yes, I'm aware of the Warp Lightning Vortex, you could say. It used to be a lot worse for my opponents when it was 26 inches in the range, because they have to make it multiple of 13 for some reason. I don't know why they didn't go with 13, they went with 26. But yeah, it's if you're underneath that vortex, there's 3 models to that spell. So if you're underneath any one of them, you're going to take mortal wounds. That's the short answer to that. It also means you can't run. So not only are you taking mortal wounds, it's more difficult for you to get out of it, which is a very exciting experience for the person casting the spell, but not so much the person under it. Right, I think I'm going to go into the other room now and let you guys what's going on. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. I can feel it.
Yeah, it would be interesting for sure.
Definitely. So by the looks of it, John's taken his first steps with these boats, and this is one of the frigates here. Let's just...
Yeah, so this is interesting here. I don't know if John's whether he's used the hero phase move, which I would expect him to, but he seems to be doing some measuring out to see if you can capture those objectives, potentially some pre-measuring there, just from the frigates. So it might be good if I just run through the KO list in a bit more detail, so we can talk about what John might be looking to do in his first turn.
Definitely.
So today for the KO we have Barrack Ziflin, like I talked about before. So that's the Skyport, the sub faction. If you're not familiar with KO. So there's a couple of key abilities that Barrack Ziflin have got. The first one allows John to have an extra engine work, which is like an upgrade for any of the ships that he wants. So we'll come to those later. That allows him to get an extra one of those.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 sub abilities. So you've got an article, an amendment, and a footnote, which I've always thought is quite cool. It's quite narrative. Have those in there. So the article, Master of the Skies, allows John to reroll 1s to hit for his boats. So that's the Ironclad and the 2 frigates that we'll talk about later, against units that can fly.
Yeah.
So won't be super useful in this matchup, but if he does want to take out the gyrocopters that you're seeing on the Living City side, that might help him out a little bit there. The amendment is don't argue with the wind, so that just means that whenever any of John's units run, they auto run 6 inches, which really allows John to get up the board and have some presence, and particularly get the smaller units of Arcanauts that he'll be looking to get bodies on the objectives with.
Yeah.
And then the footnote is there's always a breeze if you look for it. So that's the free once per game hero phase move that we've talked about, that you can use in combination with the Warp Lightning Vortex. And interestingly, because that happens in the hero phase, you can do that combo, and then the boat can fly away again. So you can zip all the way over to the other side of the board. So you can drop the vortex, and then run away again.
An essential drive-by in the hero phase.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking of it.
That sounds pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a painful combination. It's why you see the Barrack Ziflin Skyport most often, really, in KO lists. It is very powerful, and what dropping the vortex really allows you to do, and we'll come on to it in a bit more detail a little bit later on when I talk through the other elements of the list. But because the Warp Lightning Vortex stops enemy units flying when it's within 6 inches of any of those 3 models.
It's really nice to shut down those gyrocopters.
You can't run, yeah. So it's really difficult to get out of, like Mark said, and each of the Warp Lightning Vortex models has to be 7 inches away from each other as well. So it's got a really big footprint, and then you're measuring 6 inches out in a bubble from each of those models. So if you've got an army that's very condensed or bubbled up, it can be really painful and really difficult for you to score objectives later on.
Definitely.
So in terms of leaders, he's got the 8th Chemist with the spell in the bottle. He's not really, that character isn't really there to do anything more than drop that Warp Lightning Vortex on turn 1.
Yeah.
Then he's got an Etheric Navigator. So he's got quite a cool ability. In your hero phase, he can pick a unit within, I think it's 30 inches. On a 3-up, they halve their movement. It only affects flying units, but it's a really interesting ability to kind of shut down your opponent's movement.
Yeah.
Also stop them getting into. If they do have fast flying units, it stops them getting into your boats.
Stuff like more pressures and stuff. It's quite a nice answer.
Yeah, stuff like that. There's plenty like eels, anything. So if there are any Ideneth players watching today, yeah, really really good at stopping eels and really fast, hard hitting units that you don't want to get into those frigates and the Ironclad. So he's got the artifact Voidstone Orb, which gives him a once per game automatic unbind, which is quite interesting. I don't think Luke's really teched into Magic today, whether he's built into it, but it's an interesting artifact to bring. Certainly helps against a lot of the Magic sort of heavy armies that you're seeing at the moment.
It might be a little bit handy later in the game with the Luminarchs. I'm pretty sure they're wizards, or controlled by wizards, at least.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and the Hurricanum has definitely got a battle mage on top of it, so I imagine he'll be from Ish, and he's got quite a good spell on him as well. So, like you say, might be handy later on in the game. Then we've got an Engine Master with Dirigible Suit. He's quite shooty, and he's fairly tough for a character as well, and quite fast. So he's a good little package actually. He's got the command trait Grudge Bearer, which gives him double damage against heroes, which would be really great against those the Luminarchs and the Hurricanum particularly. They're all hero keyworded, so that's quite a cool piece there. And then he's got the Barziflin required artifact, which is the Staff of Ocular Optimization. So that gives him +1 to hit for one of his weapons, which we'll find out which one he's put it on later. There's a choice. The Endrin Master has a few different guns, so we'll find that out. But nice piece. So a good suite of characters there. Then he's got 3 units of Arcanaut Company, each with 1 Skypipe, 1 Light Skyhook, and 1 Volley Gun. So good spread of special weapons there, and those would be the bodies that John will be looking to capture those objectives and sit on them. They're very fragile. I mean, they're only one wound with a 4-up save, so difficult to keep them alive, and particularly if they're in the boats. They do get a little bit tougher, but they're actually ironically a bit more exposed to Luke's army, which will in this matchup, which we'll come on to a bit later. Then he's got 3 engine riggers, 1 volley gun, and 1 grapnel launcher.
Yeah.
2 frigates, both with heavy sky cannons, which is the loadout you always see them with. It has 2 shooting profiles, so 1 solid shot, which gives him 1 shot and d6 damage with a little bit better rend, or the shrapnel shot, which is what you'll probably see John using most of the time, which is d6 shots for 2 damage. So a good profile, 3s and 3s, -1 on the shrapnel shot. Then each of those frigates has got an Endrin work. So one is the Magnificent Omniscope, which gives it +2 move.
Yeah.
Always nice to have. And the other one is the Malefic Sky Mine. So that's a once per game d6 mortal wounds ability against a flying unit. So a good pick normally, and might be useful against those gyrocopters, but not much in Luke's army flies, so might help him out, but it's more of a niche Endrin work there. And then you got the big Ironclad,
the Dakar ship.
The Dakar ship, it's got a lot of Dakar on it. It'll be the main source of output for John's list, really, other than the Warp Lightning Vortex. That's a key piece that Luke will want to be shutting down and trying to hem in, really, making sure that the Ironclad doesn't get to the soft targets in his army.
Definitely.
So it's got a great Skyhook, which you don't see very often, but it's quite a cool choice for the main gun. And then the Ironclad's got the great engine work, Zombar Corp Dealbreaker Battle Ram, which is an amazing name for an upgrade for a ship. So what that does is every time the Ironclad charges, you roll a number of dice equal to the charge roll and pick an enemy unit within 1 inch, and for every 4 up you do a mortal wound.
That's pretty nice.
Quite tasty. So it means the Ironclad's going to come forward, do some shooting, maybe get off a big charge, and if he does get off the big charge, do some mortal wounds as well. So it means that he can do some damage in multiple phases. And you might see the Ironclad being played a little bit more aggressively than perhaps you would do normally as well, which would be nice to see, getting the Ironclad stuck in and seeing those ships on the front lines.
I want to see this Ironclad be a proper drive-by ship by the end of this game. I want to see it do work for this character.
Drop in turn 1, charge, do mortal wounds.
Exactly,
and then
proper
away. It's great.
Proper nice little drive-by. I want to see this Warp Lightning Vortex pop off. I've only heard good things about this endless spell.
Yeah, well, so I'll talk about that next, shall I? So the spell in the bottle. So you might notice that none of the heroes that I mentioned earlier, I didn't mention that any of them are wizards, because they're not. So aren't really noted for their casting ability, and that doesn't really change with Kharadron Overlords, but they do have a way to bring in an endless spell via the artifact spell in the bottle, which the 8th Chemist has got today. You do still have to pay the points for the endless spell. It's not free, luckily, otherwise it would be a bit too, it's arguably a bit too strong anyway, but having a free reign of endless spells in this game would definitely be massive for an army. So he's paid the 80 points for the Warp Lightning Vortex, and we've talked about the combo of using the free hero phase move to drop down the Warp Lightning Vortex and really do some damage and pinning in Luke's army turn 1. So So what you do is you set up the first model of the Warp Lightning Vortex wholly within 13 of the Aether Chemist. So the Aether Chemist, you drop the boat down, get the Aether Chemist out, if you want to.
Yeah.
Within 6, that gives you 6 inches. And then drop the warp lightning vortex wholly within 13 of that. And then, like I said before, each of the 3 models, because it comes with 3 models, has to be exactly 7 inches away from each other one. So there's a nice
Triangle.
it's a nice big triangle that you make. So it's a really good board presence, and it actually gives you a lot of reach. So if you're thinking about it, you drop down 9 inches away, get the Aether Chemist out 6 inches. Then you're talking about wholly within 13 for the first model, and then 7 inches diagonally, so you'd want to sort of 6 inches forwards again. So it's quite a lot of reach on that. And then the effects of the warp lightning vortex happen within 6 inches of it.
Yeah.
And essentially, when you drop it down, it does mortal wounds, and if you're, it's normally on a 4-up. But if you're close to, if you're within 6 of more than one of the models, then you add +1 to the roll for each successive one you're in range of. So if you're in range of 2 of them, it's a 3+, you take mortal wounds, and if you're in range of all 3, then 6 inches of all 3, it's a 2+, take mortal wounds.
Yeah.
And if you roll an unmodified 6 on it, it's d6 more.
So that did a lot more damage than I thought it was going to do.
I was about to say, there's a lot of models missing
the stuff's
already.
gone. Okay, I've just been talking through the list in quite a lot of detail. That's
a lot of the number of the... Is it handgun or free guild guard? All of his objective securing units for the objectives, or his numbers, have just been whittled by volley guns and cannonballs.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
it didn't really have a big presence on the board, and it was all quite fragile. Really, so it's not too surprising. But we've been talking a lot about that warp lightning vortex combo, and it hasn't come out yet for probably good reason, because most of Luke's hitting power is yet to.
There you go. You can see the 9-inch ruler coming out.
And this is
this is where you realise. I forgot to cover this bit.
Mm.
So I think Luke expected that, deploying the way he did. It's really hard to escape those boats.
You can't really.
Their main guns have got 24-inch range, and their side guns, which are just as good, really, as the main gun, have got 12-inch range. And unless you really, make an effort to screen them out, when you've only got screens on the board, your screens will die. So yeah, I think Luke won't be feeling too bad about what he's lost, and he's still got a couple of models.
He was unlucky to lose that gyro in one hit, but on the other side, the other gyro just completely shrugged off the ironclad.
Really? Oh, okay, that's interesting.
It's
and
aerial
they just-
warfare at its finest.
Absolutely. Luke has no hero phase. I love these two armies. I'm just going to say, after doing some commentary for Seraphon, my God, this is so much better to talk about.
Definitely. It's like
This is
Tau
two-
for AOS.
This is two armies just shooting each other until one of them is dead.
Yeah, it's not 40k at all. It's 100%. Definitely not that. Definitely not that. So yeah, I've just finished talking through the.
Oh no!
Oh
no!
Oh no!
Who's pressed a thing? Now, this has happened before. This is essentially when your fat friend comes over and hits the table as they walk past.
Yeah.
This is how we simulate that in TTS.
It was 100% a Mega Gargant just
basically
squanching on the table.
I've just been found that was Luke, and that comes as a surprise to absolutely no one who knows him.
Yeah, no, that does sound like Luke, definitely.
Oh, there's an upside down gyro bomb on there. Oh my!
Love it. So yeah, the last little bits for the Kharadron Overlords army list were there's 2 battalions, the Iron Sky Attack Squadron and the Iron Sky Commands. Neither of which provide particularly nice abilities for this game. The Iron Sky Attack Squadron does allow John to get any Arcanaut company that are in any of the boats out after the boat moves, which could be quite nice for capturing objectives.
We saw that in the first phase with the if you have a look at the Arcanauts that came out of the frigate, they did that using the battalion in question.
Yeah,
so
it's a really nice ability, because now it means that John's got quite a few models on that objective, and it's really hard for Luke to push him off of that objective unless he commits to that side. So he is very good early game, and might serve him well later on. But importantly, you can't get out. So that battalion doesn't allow you to get out of the boats after a fly high move. So you can't redeploy the boats.
It looks like that gyro has done a little bombing run over the Ironclad. Now, every time... Now, Luke's got a few pretty disgusting tricks that will work particularly well against the KO army. So look out for the Luminarchs, and the gyro bombers are another instance of this, where they can literally go across a boat, and with their mortal wound ability, they hit everything inside it at once. That Ironclad, yes. So that Ironclad... So you can see there, the Chemist has taken 1, the Navigator took 3! The Ironclad is fine. Thankfully, though, just the thing we care about.
Man,
I know. Everything's drive-by in this game. Everything that
it is hit and run.
It's basically a downtown LA gang war. You know,
that is essentially what we're seeing here, but with spears and plated armor.
Yeah,
it's just in the sky.
The way it should be done. Be done. Right. Do you want to talk us through the Living Cities list, Mark? And I'll
certainly. So, the Living Cities army, we're seeing kind of what it does here. So, by being in Living Cities, half of it's going to be off the board when we start, and we're seeing it come on now. Yeah. So that will be like the things to look out for in particular are the Luminarchs, because they've got a really a 30-inch shot when they come on, and it goes in a straight line. So imagine you're the Luminarch looking at the enemy, everything 30 inches in front of you. Not only can you hit, but you hit everything in that line. So if imagine that you're the KO player with 3 boats in the air. If you put them down in a line, 3 in a line, that one Luminarch can hit all 3 and all its passengers with 1 shot.
It's like a laser beam.
Yeah, it's almost as if Luke designed this list to take out KO. It's weird. Almost as if you planned this.
Almost.
So I'll just see. It suffers D3 mortal wounds, and I've got a feeling there's a way to make that better as well. Another thing Living City can do is once they've shot, they can sort of do a little move afterwards. So you can kind of move forward, do your shooting, and then move back.
Yeah.
But which is great for hit and run, as we were talking about. But I believe that takes a command ability, so you can't spam that one. So as we can see here, Luke looks like he's setting up in this corner. Now I believe once he's down, he's kind of down for the game. So this is where these Luminarchs and the Celestial Hurricanum are going to live from now on. This is their home address.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna have to quickly deal with that Ironclad, because he's still not dropped the Warp Lightning Vortex, which might be a massive problem in that very select space.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because let's say, for the sake of argument now, that all this shooting and the fulminators absolutely whiff.
Yeah.
That means that there is on John's turn, there's some pretty juicy targets for that Warp Lightning Vortex in that corner.
Definitely.
Because they don't move very fast. They've got movement. Well, the Luminarch's got movement 10 actually, so it's quite quick, I guess, but it's quite bulky. Yeah. So it doesn't fly or anything, so it can't fly over the Warp Lightning Vortex models themselves.
So it can be obstructed by that. Well, it looks like he's lining up one of his Luminarchs. Is it Luminarchs? It's Luminarchs.
Yes, Luminarchs, yes.
2 of the ships, which...
Now, I can't use my ruler here because I'm only a spectator. I could. Yeah, Bazan's just making note of that he's trying to line them up, as I said earlier, to try and hit as much as he possibly can. So that, in theory, would hit the Arcanaut. Sorry, the Ironclad, the frigate, and everyone on board in both cases, all in 1 shot.
That is a really nasty combination.
That's very, very tasty.
That is going to be a lot of damage. That's essentially like a Godzilla laser beam in Tokyo.
It's weird you bring up Godzilla in this case, but yeah, I guess you could use that analogy if you wanted to.
Definitely.
Yes. So now another shooting ability that Luke has up his sleeve is the Heraldor, which I believe is the general in this case because you bring Stormcast in cities sometimes.
Yeah.
Now the Heraldor picks a piece of terrain that's within, wholly within 18, and he plays his little song at it, and it damages units that are within 3, I believe. So again, that will hit a boat and everything in it.
Oh my!
I know he's got a load of tricks like this that's useful against this exact army, basically.
You see, this is why people root for the other team with Luke, because he's a very nasty player. He's smart.
Yeah, he is. I wouldn't go that far, but he is nasty. Yeah. People wonder why. People call me unbiased for a reason. So I will be supporting both teams. 7 mortals from that one Heraldor. So he hits the frigate and the Arcanaut and the riggers.
Oh no! Oh, I feel the pain. Yeah. Just imagine having a Stormcast talk to a tree like a Sylvaneth.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what's happened here. He's just been like, "Excuse me, Mr. Tree, could you just poke that boat for me over there?" And they don't like it anyway. Oh, and poke the things inside it and the things around it. Could you do that? Cheers, bud.
It's very strange though, having a living cities without any Sylvaneth on the table.
Yeah, it is a bit unthemey, you could say. So the Fulminators, they, as well as being great on the charge and really tough units, they've also got a ranged attack, which does mortals.
Yeah.
And I think it might do a similar effect to... No, actually, I don't think it does. It doesn't do a splash effect. When I refer to a splash effect, I mean one of those effects which I just discussed, where it hits not only the container, but everything inside it in an area.
Yeah.
So I don't think it splashes, but I believe it did 1 mortal to the chemist with 2 breath attacks, and he's just trying to whittle off the enemy models that are within these ships.
Yeah.
So you can see if you have a look off the board, the way they've set this up, they've copied and pasted the ships, so you can actually see what's on board. So you can see now that the Arcanauts inside the frigate are getting absolutely whittled away at the moment. They've had 5 dead. Here we go, the Luminarch shooting.
Oh no.
Here we go. So 2 mortals from the first Luminarch. No, it does have to roll to hit them. But it fails against the frigate. Arcanauts take another one. The Engine Master takes another one. And that's it. I'm disappointed. I don't know about you.
I wanted more explosions. I don't know if that's because I like explosions.
You know what I said earlier about the a command point being used to move models after the shooting phase?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing here with the Fulminators. So they've shot, and now they're going to move, which means they pretty much can't fail this charge.
Yeah.
So this frigate is about to get, although it would be hilarious if it failed, let's be fair. So this frigate's going to get 4 Fulminators.
Oh,
these guys are pretty... Yeah, these guys are going to absolutely make mincemeat of this boat and anything that's inside it.
So it looks like Luke's trying to get rid of this board pressure on this side of the board by getting rid of the frigate and the hero, and then going for this Arcanaut company on his backfield objective for the Kharadron one. John's?
Yeah, I think that's right. So he's intending to make the charge here. Maybe try and position the Fulminators so they're around the back of the frigate.
So they're on this
side. Next turn he'll move them again and maybe get another charge off. You never know.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously there's this unit that you could charge over there, and you could do the exact same command point to charge and make it an easier charge.
So the Hurricanum and the frigate, they're going to be reasonably static at the back here in the corner. These Fulminators are not.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the Luminarch over here has just failed to hit anything.
Huzzah!
In the Ironclad. Anything at all. So that's the Ironclad, the Chemist, and the Arcanauts. All safe.
That brings a joyous tear to my eye.
I know. I'm also fairly happy.
This spray...
Not because I'm biased, and it's Luke, but because,
I want to see that Warp Lightning Vortex.
Yeah, also I want to see that, yeah. As a Skaven player, seeing the Vortex brings me joy. Deep, deep joy. My opponents never experienced joy, but, stuff them.
Oh my! It's So what's going on here? We've got 3 dice. Is this the Luminarch again, or is it? Oh, is this the gyrocopter?
No. The gyro. They may look like they belong on the opposing team, but the gyrocopter is no. Sorry, you're right. This is the gyrocopter. I got my flying machines mixed around there.
Oh, yeah.
So apart from the little bombing run, the gyrocopters, I think they're 70 points. They're not like the be all or end up. What we saw there actually was the Hurricanum, which is a much more a better shooter. So he's managed to kill the chemist with the Hurricanum, which is a big deal.
Which was in this.
Now I believe the chemist, was that the one holding the bottle? I think it was. I think he killed the Spellman bottle. So it's not just the 90 points that the chemist. It's also the warp lining vortex inside him.
Oh, I'm upset now.
I'm upset as well.
Why couldn't Luke just let it happen?
I know. Well, mainly because it would be awful for him. But so what? It's not awful for us.
Exactly. We just can never have any fun watching Vortex ruin Luke's stuff.
And Dan notes, to be fair, that chemist was getting shot here, there, and everywhere by Luminarchs and everything else, and managed to survive. So something was bound to kill it. But then, by the looks of it, oh my god, yeah. By the looks of it, he threw everything he could at the chemist that time.
Definitely. So
the gyrocopter's just done a bit of drive-by shooting. And kills I think he kills one more Arcanor. So they don't do a huge amount of damage to the gyrocopters. It's just enough to be annoying,
It's a nice harasser, and they can get backfield.
That's the one. It's a nice harasser. So they're only 70 points each, the gyrocopters. So you shouldn't really expect all that much. Right, I'm guessing that charge has gone off. That required 3 inches has been met.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's trying to get into that engine master. Engine master. I was right. I actually got a name right. Wow.
Go you.
So it looks like they're trying to get into that engine master to try and get rid of it, so they can just completely ignore those 2 units and go straight for the objective next turn.
So the only thing that Luke has to be scared of here really is not quite killing stuff and getting stuck in combat.
Yeah.
Because Luke doesn't want that. He wants to literally drive through this, kill everything, and be on his way. Because these Fulminators are not going to score any points where they are at the moment. They're stuck there.
The only points Luke's going to get this turn is from his own backfield objective. Because everywhere else is got Arcanauts on it.
Yeah, but he's playing the long game. Well, yeah, he's playing the long game. Bear in mind as well that there's also one model off the board for Luke, which is getting stronger and stronger, the Celestant Prime. Now, his attack profiles go up as the rounds go on, but they only go up while he's off the board. So if you bring him down turn 1, he's pants, to be honest. Yeah. Turn 2, he's all right. Third, turn 3 onwards, he's scary. Yeah. Scary. So I imagine that's what he's going to be doing. So he's splitting the attacks a little bit. There's still 5 Arcanauts left in the top frigate at the moment.
Yeah.
The Heraldor tried to charge in as well, but failed. But I don't think that's too big a problem. I think the problem, the Heraldor, that would have been nice for the Heraldor, but ultimately, he's not a combat piece. He's just going to be there to do that annoying trumpet thing and to be a general. So, although the slingshot would be nice, and when I say slingshot, I mean when you make a charge with a unit, you're essentially getting, let's say you roll a 7, you're essentially getting another 7 inches of movement, so that's like your slingshot. So that's what you would have used that for, not really to do damage.
It'll be interesting to see if the actual Arcanaut company inside of the frigate survive, and if so, they would I would reckon they would come out and then try and screen off of the objective and try and slow down that Fulminator unit and get them with. Yeah,
they do come back. They do come out if the frigate dies. So I'm seeing a lot of misses by what I assume is the Fulminators.
Yeah.
So 6 damage on the frigate.
Well, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I think he was looking for more than 6.
So
We'll
not
see if it
ones and
survives.
twos. Oh, those are some good numbers.
Those were. But those might have been the saves.
I'm hoping for the saves.
We are totally and utterly unbiased, by the way.
Oh, I'm totally biased. Luke's
Yeah,
beaten me
so am
too
I.
many times. I need to see him lose.
I don't think we've played enough for me to get a grudge against Luke yet, but somehow it's there. Yeah, those were the save rolls, what we just saw there.
He's just tanked it. The boat's just...
So I imagine Luke is a torrent of rage at the moment. Yeah, I think somehow the frigate's going to survive this.
I hope.
I think, yeah, that was from the Drakkar, so I think that might have been it. I think this is just a very lucky frigate.
Yeah.
And I believe, oh my goodness. Yeah, and this it passed all the saves on the Endrin rigger. Luke is not a happy bunny, and that is direct from the table. He is not happy about what's just happened, which is strange because we seem actually okay with it.
Yeah, I'm
Weird, that.
perfectly fine with it. It seems good.
So let's have a look and see what he's got equipped on the Fulminators. It doesn't say here, but based upon what I'm looking at, usually they have the spears, which means that they're going to be a hell of a lot worse in the second round of combat as
They're all
opposed to the charge.
flattened.
So the damage should have come out during the charge, and it was during those spear rolls where he seemed to drop quite a lot. I saw when he made the wound roll, it was about 50-50 between 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
So Luke would not be happy with that, but you know we are where we are. Let me just think. Are there any actual? And we got some Arkanauts left inside the frigate as well.
I believe
So
they're
it's a fair roll.
attacking now.
So let's have a think about this. So next turn, the Arkanauts and the frigate are maybe. I'm trying to decide whether they want to be in combat with this or not, because they're doing a pretty good job of holding up this unit of Fulminators. On the downside, that means they're in combat with a bunch of Fulminators, which is never a place you want to be.
No.
So also, I believe it's lost the ability to fly high. Now it's been damaged this much. So yeah, the frigate and the Arkanauts striking back against the Fulminators do absolutely nothing, as you would expect. I think one of the Fulminators is taking a bit of chip damage there, but you know it's something that they can. They got 5 wounds each. They can live with that. So John is command pointing the Arkanauts and the frigate so they don't run away. So Luke has charged what is undoubtedly his best combat unit into a pretty mediocre ship and done absolutely nothing. He's done 9 wounds. That's not enough. Not enough at all. Not for a 400. Is it 440? Yeah, 440 point unit. That is not enough. Luke will not be happy with that.
Definitely.
So here we go. The turn roll's coming up now. They're ringing the bell, which means we got to pay attention. Let me just check the colours. Luke is blue. John is red. So go red. It's a 3. Luke's got it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, the double turn.
It is a double turn, but we'll see what happens. I think both players would have really liked that. I think if John had got it, it would have gone a bit worse for Luke. But bear in mind that the threat of the endless spell is now gone.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is a big thing. I wonder if he's going to take it. I imagine he will.
Just with how the shooting went last turn, I reckon he will take the turn. It's very interesting. Oh, he's given the turn by the looks of it. Oh no! Ignore me.
So
Gyro
Luke's taking the
boxes
turn.
and stuff.
Luke's taking the turn.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
So he's just doing his little gyro bomber bombing run at the moment on those Arkanauts.
Does he get to do that? Is he ignoring his hero phase again?
Yeah, he doesn't really have one. There might have been a spell in there, but yeah, he's.
Am I right in saying that the spell in the bottle is no more?
Yeah, that's right. John's killed that Aether Chemist. So yeah, that is gone now.
I'm absolutely heartbroken.
Yeah,
about
he had to spend a lot to do that. So the Luminarch rolled 3 1s against the Ironclad and the Chemist and the Arcanauts that were inside. So missed with all of that, and Luke had to dedicate the Hurricanum to finish off that Chemist.
Yeah, because that Hurricanum is expensive. Like, that shooting itself is, you know, that's some expensive shots going into it, but it's probably worth it, to be honest. Well, now that he's got the turn, it obviously wasn't, but he wouldn't have wanted that frigate taking off and dumping that warp lightning vortex on the Heraldor, Hurricanum, and the Luminarch.
No, exactly. And what it would have done as well was is pinned Luke in that corner. So Luke's really going to have to work hard here to get back the board presence and get on the objectives.
Cool. Right, I will head to the table and keep you guys to it.
Okay.
It's definitely a lot of gyrocopters coming around. Obviously trying to get rid of those units of Arcanauts on the objectives, so Luke can try and get back with the game with the points. So obviously with those fulminators being slowed by that frigate, they can't come around here to occupy this objective. Whereas Luke's got the 1 objective at the minute, John's got 4. So it's a little catch-up time, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, it's really important those Dracoths didn't do enough damage there to take the frigate and the Endrin Master out, just so they would have been really nice for Luke if they'd been freed up, and he could send those around the back to score that home objective, but it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. And the gyrocopters will do some work against the Arcanauts, but they're really designed for the large units of sort of smaller infantry. And 10 models in the unit, they can do some work against them, but they are only one little flying model. And the drive-by, as we know, is great, but he'll need to make some really good rolls to clear them off that objective. So
definitely.
Yeah, so you can see the Luminarchs moving up into position at the moment.
Getting all their angles right.
Yeah, it's really important with them, and he definitely doesn't want to hit his own Dracoths as well. So what he's going to try and do is thread the needle potentially
through this gap here.
Yeah,
by the looks of it, he can do it. He's just
could. Yeah, you can see it there, lining up the shot in the middle there to try and clip the Endrin Master that's hidden on the other side of the frigate. If you guys at home can't see that. Yeah, there you go. There's the line.
Oh no.
So there's still some Arcanauts in there, and John spent the CP to make sure they stuck around as well. So
he's trying to get them. So what I think Luke's trying to do here is get rid of that in the shooting phase, and this is the shooting phase now, and then at the end of it, move those fulminators again with the command point.
Yeah, that'd be seems like the play at the moment. I don't know if he needs to have a valid target to shoot actually. To use that command ability, I don't think he does. So he can just move them immediately afterwards. So assuming he clears all of that with the Luminarchs and the Hurricanum,
Be interesting to see what he does with this Luminarch over here. Because at the minute it's just pointing at the Ironclad, and it's still got it directed at the other frigate. So if he was to shoot it like that, he would hit one of his fulminators. So I'm wondering if he might move that yet.
Yeah, I was just thinking, see if he can clip the side of this, the very edge of this frigate. Maybe not. You see, I don't want to create lines for Luke just in case it gives him ideas. But could clip the outside. But he might just be risking the D3 mortal wounds on the Dracoth.
Just eyeballing it. But looks of it, he can use it from the very front of the Ironclad, going with that line. And then hopefully hit the very front of the frigate, and then that gives like roughly a couple millimeter gap with that fulminator that's in the woods.
Yeah, it might be. That's an interesting one. Like I say, he might just risk he might just take the D3 mortal wounds on the Dracoths and see that as a valuable trade for getting them out of that situation, being able to move them in the shooting phase, like you say, and then getting them over onto that objective and into those Arcanauts to really put them back into this game.
Definitely. It's definitely going to be a big shooting phase. Oh!
Prime's coming down.
Spire Prime.
The ninja himself.
Not quite an Optimus, but he is a Prime.
That's very true. I almost laughed at that. Liam, but not. I restrained myself there. I'm proud. So.
It's quite rare people don't laugh at these jokes.
Oh, well,
It's good. It's good strength.
I'll try. Well, yeah, I'll try less hard next time. There we are. So yeah, that would be quite big. He's on +2 attacks now, so he's on 5 attacks. The cells from Prime, so going into that Ironclads. He'll do some work there, and he's flat 3 damage as well. So
that is nasty.
Could really cause some damage against the Ironclads. And he's just a really nice piece. He's he's very self-sufficient. He can go out, drop down wherever he needs to be, guarantee the charge with his special ability. I don't know if you guys have talked about that already, but he's able to rig dice once a turn.
Rig dice?
Yeah, so
Kairos Fate Weaver in that regard.
A little bit, but it only affects him, so it's not quite as much of a negative player experience as Kairos. I know some of our viewers will have an opinion on that one way or the other, but essentially the Cells from Prime allows so he allows himself to change one of his dice a turn.
Yeah,
and that's in either player's turn as well. So it can be a hit roll, wound roll, save roll, a dice to change the range or the number of wounds done from his shooting ability as well. Yeah. Or a charge roll is the other key one as well. And because it says the roll, it doesn't say a dice, an individual die, he can rig a charge to an automatic 12. So you can drop down 9 inches away and you can guarantee that charge into whatever you need to. So unless you screen him really well, and he's got fly as well, so he can hop over screens. Unless you screen really well, the Cells from Prime come down, do some fairly reliable damage. He only hits on 3s, which does make him a little bit swingy sometimes, more so than you'd like potentially for a 300-point model, which is what he is. But with that, the mortals in the shooting phase, and then being able to consistently deliver the damage in the combat phase is a really nice, self-sufficient, and very mobile piece as well.
Definitely. I feel like we're like with a lot of Celestant Primes in games, most people want to hold on to them to the later turns, which I think, in that opinion, is you're losing a lot of board pressure. Yeah, it might be handy to like bring it down on objective and capture it, but the earlier you get it out, the more presence it will have in the game. So with Luke getting rid of that Warp Lightning Vortex, which would have shut down the Celestant Prime just by putting them on top of it, and then it can't fly out of it with such a large base size. Now with that gone, he's got free range and a higher model count to get rid of all of these frigates and all of these objectives for the later game.
Yeah, and the Cells from Prime is a really interesting model because of how the mechanics work of holding it off the board. You can kind of tailor it to fit your list. So if you've got a list that's very aggro, and is maybe even an Alpha Strike list, so you put a lot of pressure on early doors, and things, but you might be fragile, or you don't have the ball presence later on, for example, and you need something to come down late game, just deal some solid damage and get your opponent off the objectives when you haven't got those units around to score. You can leave them off the board, then build up those attacks and put the pressure on the opponent, because they're constantly thinking about themselves from Prime, where he's going to come down, and keep your opponent's got to think about keeping him away from really valuable pieces that every army has. So you can do it that way, or like in Luke's list here, he does, he needs a lot of his pressure early on. So the Cells from Prime really helps with that, and he needs it in very specific places. So Luke's army is designed to deal very targeted damage to the key targets in the opponent's army. So the Cells from Prime really helps that early doors. So that's why you're seeing it coming down now.
Got one of the heroes gone.
Yeah, so he's managed to kill off that. He's managed.
Oh, I've forgotten the name of it.
He's chipping away at the Endrin Master down there, over next to the frigate, and he's managed to kill the Navigator with the Auto Unbind artifact as well. So pleased about that. Any dead hero is a good hero.
One wound remaining. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
No, he's definitely doing some work chipping down those boats now. Yeah, we'll see where John comes out of it, the other side of this shooting phase. There's not much more you can do now than sit there and hope Luke doesn't roll those 2 or 3 ups for shooting. It's very consistent wound damage as well, so it's really nice. Oh, are they looking at picking up that frigate?
I'm not sure.
Not quite. he might have a couple of wounds left. It's got to be very low. That frigate was on 5 wounds after the attacks from the last combat phase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. So
It's gone.
they're just measuring out placing the Arcanauts now, because they can't be placed within 3 inches of enemy units.
Yep.
So there's the Arcanauts coming out of that frigate, and you will see it being picked up and off the board in a second, I expect. So he's also got a roll for those Arcanauts to see if they die in the explosion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think 2 of those have died now. He's got 3 Arcanauts left after that, which will be quite nice because it means that Luke has to move around him in the with the Dracoths. Oh, I see. He's coming down to the Ironclad to consolidate that corner. Interesting move.
It's very interesting. I wonder if he's going to send Celestant Prime not towards the Ironclad. I reckon he might go towards the other Arcanaut frigate.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Can you measure the distance there between those two, the frigate and the Celestant Prime?
I definitely think it's out of 12 inches. I'm not going to measure for the...
Oh no, for the sake of the game, no, that makes sense. No, it does look to me like it's outside of 12. So I think maybe he's doubling down on cleaning that up Ironclad this turn, and once that.
I'm not sure if he needs it though, because obviously the Ironclad can shoot and all that stuff, but all the heroes inside it's dead. He's going to get the objective. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for this objective over here, with the 10 Arcanaut crew on. Yeah,
me too. I think that makes sense to me in terms of the objective game. He might think that it's worth taking out the Ironclad just to make sure that he takes out a really key piece of John's. So, like I said before, that Ironclad is one of the main sources of damage in John's list. So you might think that it's worth making that a done deal. We all know how swingy dice can be in AOS. So yeah, it looks like he's going all in on that Ironclad with
Is he just charged with Illumina?
Charged for Luminarch in and everything. Yeah, he's. So there, we see the Prime going in.
He's just ramming it.
Expected that.
I think the Fulminators are him. He wants it gone in this combat phase by the looks of it.
Yeah, Mark's just said Ironclad is sad in big capital letters. I think that's fair to say. John will be.
I'm sad for the Ironclad. I wanted that Warp Lightning Vortex to start exploding everything.
Yeah, I mean, John didn't really need it first turn, admittedly, but so we didn't see it come out in this game, and it is a big feature in a lot of games. But Luke does have the ability to take that chemist out fairly reliably in his first turn if John gave it away. So yeah, it makes sense. It probably would have been nice to put down somewhere, maybe just defensively, to make sure that Luke couldn't come down in that area of the board. Because if you know the chemist is going to die anyway, might as well use the 80-point underspell and the artifact that you've got to make the most of it. But
definitely,
yeah, Luke's done a good job neutralising that. So the Prime has used that dice trick, so the fixing of the dice to charge, so he won't have that for his hits or wounds. And the Fulminators are going first and using the Triumph. Do we know what Triumph he had, Liam?
I don't think Luke picked a Triumph. I think John's got the Triumph.
Oh, John's got it.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, he's 1960. Yeah. 8th gold use. I see. Yeah. So John's used the Aether Gold ability from the Kharadron Overlords. So this allows any unit any of the boat units or a unit of 10 or more models or a hero in the Kharadron Overlords army to have a once per game use for Triumph. So it can be any of the 3 Triumphs: reroll hits, wounds, or saves.
Yeah.
You can only use once per phase, which is quite important. So you can only use that to reroll saves on the Ironclad in this phase if he was targeted elsewhere, but it'd be quite important now. Reroll saves on the Ironclad. Might be able to tank some of this.
It's got a lot of big models in combat with it. We've got a bunch of dice that Luke's levitating with his mind by the looks of it. Not sure what's going
he's
on
got 8 wounds left on the Ironclad, so he's Ironclad is very sad at the moment. Prime hitting. 3s and 2s on those attacks.
That's not looking good.
Can't be far off now. That looks like 6 damage there.
Ooh.
2 wounds left. That's it. Yeah. He's -3 rend on those attacks. So John's was looking for 6s there and managed to get 2, which is impressive. Is that Ironclad alive for now? So we'll have to see if that Luminar can finish him off. Yeah, Luke would be really upset about that. John rolling 2 6s there. And if you speak to people who use the Celestine Prime, they'll have stories like that where they've gone in with 5, or I remember I used one once and went in with 7 attacks and managed to wound with 2 of them, with real ones to hit as well. So yeah, you will have those. We all have those stories. Celestine Prime players, if you've ever used one.
I believe it or not, I've never used the Celestin Prime. I've always been a chaotic monster sort of guy.
Oh really? It's such a cool model. I have to say as well that I've seen some really cool conversions for KO. I've converted one for Idneth, so I've used some in my Idneth army.
Yeah.
To really good effect, and yes, it's a really cool model to convert and things, just because it can be allied into so many armies, and people have really put their creative spin on it. So I recommend you buy one if you can. It's quite cheap as well for what it is. It's one of those models that came out quite early on in the range for Stormcast, and hasn't seen a price increase as far as I'm aware. So
it's like 46 quid, isn't it? It's not that much. It's like same Vermin Lord sort of price range.
Yeah, and for 300 points, it's pretty good value for money. We're not sponsored by GW or anything, by the way, guys. It's £50 for Celestine Prime, which is quite good value for money.
Definitely.
If you think about some of the bigger models that are coming out today.
It's not even like a tiny model. It's actually quite huge with all the vortex and the wings.
It is a very big model, yeah.
Using it as a tree top on a Christmas tree instead of the star.
That's great. I've never heard of anyone doing that before.
Oh, I just went into the local store and saw it there, and it was like, it's so majestic. What a great place to have it.
It is majestic.
So what do you guys think of that?
So that Ironclad's still alive on 2 wounds, Mark?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was the Prime. Now, I'm going to point out to everyone that the weapon, the Prime, I think this is a slightly customized model, but I believe the Prime is supposed to be armed with the Warhammer from the game Warhammer.
Yeah, so he's wielding Galmaraz, the Hammer of Sigmar. It's the weapon of a god, and he hits on 3s. So he's not very good at wielding it, apparently.
No, I kind of feel it's slightly wasted on him, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just telling the viewers about and Liam about the everyone who's used to sell some Prime has got those stories where he whiffs in a key moment. And I remember having
the Prime has nothing but those stories.
I know.
That's what he does. He comes down, he misses.
So consistently, 3s and 2s with if you bring him down turn 3, 7 attacks, 3s and 2s.
In fact, anyone listening, if someone comes up to you and goes, "I've got this great Prime story, let me save you some time." The story is, I panicked, brought him down turn 2, he charged because I auto-charged it, and then he did absolutely nothing, because that's what everyone does.
He sounds like he needs a spatula instead of Galmaraz.
I honestly think he'd do about the same damage.
At least he'd hit on 2s then. So
he would hit on 2s.
Better rolling a spatula than Galmaraz, surely. So
in fact, if I get a hammer in one hand and a spatula in the other, what am I more likely to hit with? Not damage-wise, but hit with.
Are you saying that you own Galmaraz, Mark? You just have it to hand?
I have a hammer that I keep in a drawer, which I may or may not refer to as Galmaraz.
He's just sprayed it gold.
Yeah. I have too much time on my hands.
It's a knockoff Galmaraz, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of our viewers says they love the content and they love watching the TTS game, and they've also asked, is there any plans of Lumineth games with new units? I know Jack and Phil have got a lot of the new units already at the studio. Jack's got to paint them all, which I think has scared him a little bit, but he'll get through it. As for TTS, I definitely think we could do the new units. We'll have to somehow get the 3D models on TTS, wouldn't we?
I'm pretty sure those modelers are way ahead of you there.
Yeah, I think the first wave release was really... So someone did them, I think, technically before they came out, so I'd expect to see them fairly soon. There's some keen Lumineth players out there doing 3D models.
I know for a fact that I'm playing a friend who's got, who I assume has them in TTS tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'll see what everyone's been raging about. Could it be that Twitter has had a meltdown over nothing again?
That doesn't sound like Twitter at all.
No, it doesn't.
The internet's right. Who knows?
There's the first time for that as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But we shall see. Next time you speak to me, I may be like, God damn Fox. Why did they have to write that rule?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll tell us one way or the other.
Yeah, I will make my voice heard.
So we're in Kharadron Overlord turn 2. There's not much left, I'm not going to lie. Well, there's still a Ironclad, but it's on 3 wounds. But as for the rest of it, there's a unit of 10 Arcanauts on the home field objective for the Kharadrons. The other objective for the Kharadrons is being harassed by a gyrocopter.
Yeah, like a little butterfly whizzing past it.
I was thinking more of a hornet because it's just stinging that unit of Arcanauts. It's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah, to be fair, a butterfly implies that it's not, got any form of sting in it. So I think that frigate is eyeing up the Free Guild Guard over there. And to be fair, that would be reasonably horrible if that thing charges into the Free Guild Guard.
Definitely.
Because the Free Guild Guard are there just to score objectives, more or less. They're your chaff.
I'm pretty
there
sure
anything
how the objectives work on this is you get more of the heroes, if I'm correct.
That's correct, yes.
So with all the heroes for the Kharadrons gone, I feel like this is a very steep battle.
You raise a good point there. Points-wise, and model-wise, and everywhere else-wise, the Kharadron Overlord is up against it here.
He's fighting an uphill battle. Granted,
yes.
He is flying, but...
He's flying an uphill battle.
We'll see.
What's happening.
One of our viewers says, Poland, all capitals, I love Poland.
Good for you, buddy.
We also love Poland.
Why not?
I've just had a brain fart then. What are we doing here? We've got a frigate doing stuff. We got a mishmash.
Well, we've got what is going to be a dead Ironclad. It's had 1 wound healed in its hero phase, but I don't think that's going to save it from Galmaraz, the Warhammer from Warhammer, and his friends. So, yeah, count this Ironclad as out of the game. We've got a handful of these Arcanauts, which are armed with pea shooters and a few other bits and bobs. Yeah, and Dan's just making note. Is the Ironclad is so injured as well, it can't fly high to get out of there, which is what he would have wanted to do.
So by the looks of it, realistically speaking, there's only going to be this frigate, this 10-man unit of Arcanauts, and then these scraps of Arcanaut units left. I don't think that's going to be enough to win the game, based on the hero advantage that Luke has, because he's got the Herolda, he's got the Celestant Prime, and obviously all of the Luminarts and the Hurricanum. Heroes.
Yeah, yeah, it looks pretty strong in Luke's favour at the moment, it's got to be said. We've got another question from the chat about the new Lumineth models. Like, how do you think they are as models, and the new spell lore, and how it will help Techless?
I like the new models in the lore. There's definitely, like, I'm an avid fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but seeing elves with earth and wind, I'm hoping there's like fire and water at some point. Like the kangaroos.
Well, it makes you think that that's on the way, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure what the kangaroo aspect of the air came from. Maybe because they bounce a lot.
I think sometimes they go with the dartboard technique. It's like the mountain avatar. It's like we're elves. We like the earth. Oh yeah, giant cow with a mallet. Yep, that's it. That's the one.
It does look like a beast though. That mountain. I'll give it to them.
No, yeah, don't get me wrong. It's an amazing model. It's just why is it in a high elf army? Not like a beastman army where they desperately need something. I mean, give those guys anything, please.
Don't
and Slangor, my god, not them. Just something else.
I cried so hard when the Slangor release came out.
Oh, they're such nice models again, though, and it's just like, oh, please just give the rules something, give us something. Yeah, that's not something. That's nothing. Forced to hit, rip.
I'm hoping that they get an FAQ or get better in some regards.
I think a new beast book is what is required.
I'm praying. I'm praying a GW for that one because I want my Beast of Chaos army to come off the shelf again.
Speaking of praying, Luke's save rolls. My good God! So the Ironclad is starting shooting the Heraldor. Oh my God! Has he just moved the Celestia Prime off? Hold on, we missed that.
What just happened?
So obviously this guy's got Prime finished off with the torpedoes. Oh my God! He shot the Prime off. Now the Prime doesn't have that many wounds. He's only got 8 wounds. Yeah, 3 up save, 8 wounds. So
he just full on photon torpedoed it to the face.
Only 3 wounds left. It still managed to pull that off. I still think it's dead, by the way. But that's got a sting.
That's a coup de grace right there.
So this is what Luke will say when he comes and speak to us. Oh yeah, I sent the Prime down, yeah, and then I've charged it in, and I should have one-shot this Ironclad, but no, it turned around and hit me. Yeah, okay, that's just always what happens with Primes, mate. That's just what they do. They come down and they miss.
That actually, I reckon, worked in the favour of John because he's not got a hero that can fly to the objectives as easily. The Hurricanums and the Luminarchs have got a 10-inch move, but
yeah, they're surprisingly nippy, actually, aren't they?
It's not as fast as the.
He's going to need to charge that one, though. I don't think he gets any bonuses to it, so I think it's just going to stay there and pick off the Free Guild Guard.
Yeah, hopefully get into battle shot.
I do see what you mean, though, because in terms of the model spread around the map, John is in a better position.
This objective here is Luke's already. John can't do anything about it. But for Luke to get this Hurricanum over to here and outnumber the objective pretty hard, this Luminarch over here, it's plausible.
Remember, they've got a 30-inch shot.
Yeah.
So assuming that Ironclad dies, then it's a fairly safe assumption.
Yeah.
He's just got to aim at it, really. You can even get the Arcanauts in the way. Oh my goodness, have they just been shot off? Frigate shoots off the Free Guild Guard and Luke's home. Yeah, they're gone as well. So, assuming they'll be gone, the last remaining 2 will be gone to Battle Shock. That will be John's going forward. So that's 3 out of 4 objectives with John at the moment. But I think that's only a temporary occupancy of those objectives. I think Luke's going to just take them back.
Yeah.
Slowly. And losing that Prime did not help in any way.
It served a great satisfaction deep down in my soul that got photon torpedoed off the board.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it got torpedoed to back to the realm of heavens, where it will await to come down and miss another few hits when the next time it's called into the battle.
Exactly. So
the Ironclad is, desperately trying to hurt these Fulminators, but it's just doing 1 wound at a time. That's not going to be enough. With living cities as well, they heal that 1 wound back every turn, so it's not going to be enough. You have to do way more damage to that, I'm afraid. So the Ironclad is preparing itself to die. Now the Fulminators are attacking. Now they're nowhere near as good off the charge, but it's only got to do 3 wounds, and it survived last time by the reroll saves. It hasn't got that anymore. So, and these rolls look decent. I believe it's -1. So we're looking for anything 3 and under. So that's 2 hits going through. If it's more than 1 damage, it's dead. I think it's got 1 left.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of attacks from somewhere.
Yeah, it's got 1 damage left. So these are the Dracoffs
Ooh.
themselves.
Low numbers, low numbers.
I think it's going to be 3s and 3s because everything's 3s and 3s.
It's essentially Space
So,
Marines.
Yeah. So if he needs just to get one of these attacks through, so these will be 4+, I imagine.
Oh!
Nope. I'm pretty sure that's a dead ironclad.
No.
Lovely model.
No! Why can't it explode?
Now, I don't know if any models were on board, but even if they were, when they die, they can get redeployed onto the board 3 inches away from where the ironclad died. They sort of jump out.
Yeah.
But I think they have to be outside 3 inches of enemy forces. Otherwise, the enemy forces just lynch them. So anything on that boat would have been lynched.
We got a bell ring.
So yeah, turn rolls coming up. Now it looks like it's very one-sided towards Luke at the moment, but I don't know. I wouldn't count the KO player out just yet.
John's
Luke
red,
is blue again.
Luke's blue. Oh. Luke's
looks like again. It's going to. Yeah, that is going to be Luke's.
Oh, Luke, you monster. Okay.
He's certainly going to be taking that, I would have thought. He's going to try and pick off now the remaining troops that are securing the whatchamacallit? That's securing the points.
Yeah.
So we got down on the bottom here the gyrocopter versus 3 Arcanauts. It's got a kill, and the gyrocopter's got that one.
How many points did Luke score last turn? Was it just?
It would have only been 2, maybe. Well, actually 1. Yeah, because there's no hero by it. So he is behind on points, or only just though. And I think he's about to go way up. So he's going to have that objective with the Fulminators on. That's a given for the rest of the... Yeah, and he's taking the turn. That's a given as well, really. So the Fulminators are going to keep this one. Well, I say the Fulminators. The Heralder's probably going to do that. And Luke's going to, move everything like we're seeing here down to this objective.
Yeah.
I would have thought take it out, really. The Fulminators, they just need to make a charge onto these Arcanauts here. That may be enough to get them onto the objective. You're going to get the long-range Luminarchs shooting at the Arcanauts down here as well, which I think all in all will be enough to take them off with a battle shock phase as well. Then you've got this lone gyrocopter down here. I don't know whether that's going to be enough to take out 3 Arcanauts, but we shall see. And that other one in the corner there is, I don't know, maybe dead to Luke for the time being. It looks like he's positioning his Fulminators over there. So obviously he thinks he's got enough DACA to shoot off the both sets of Arcanauts down there with Luminarchs and Hurricanons, and he may well be right.
What do you guys think of that turn? It was fairly straightforward from Luke, but effective.
We lost his prime.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
That brought great satisfaction on a deep spiritual level to me.
We were kind of talking nonsense while that happened, and we're just like, well, why is he moving the prime? Oh, the prime is dead!
The prime's dead, yeah. I mean, he tried to keep it alive. Luke took 10 damage and had 6 up saves to make and rolled 3 of them, which kept him alive on a wound, but unfortunately the torpedoes finished him off there. So I don't think Luke would be too upset with that. He's still got a lot left on the table. A lot of his damage is still there as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. I will go back on the table now. Leave you guys to it.
Okay.
Got a lot of moving and shooting about. Luminarchs moving on to objectives for those extra points.
Yeah, they're quite speedy actually. I didn't realise they moved that fast. I thought they were fairly slow, but
I thought they were fairly slow. But the horses are just they're really hench horses.
Oh, I guess so. Yes, it's true. It's a different world they're living, isn't it?
Definitely.
I mean, if you look at the model, the horses are quite armoured. So and they're pulling on a big wagon behind it with a big gun on the top of it. Yeah, movement 10 base actually on the movement up. So yeah, fairly speedy.
Those horses just like really, really like strong stallions.
Yeah, loving life.
They're
not intimidated by the Dracoths next to them at all.
If not, they're stronger than Dracoths. Like,
Yeah,
what's the movement of a Dracoth these days?
Oh god, I think they move 8. Oh, they're 10-inch move as well. So yeah, those horses are just about as strong as a Dracoth.
They have to carry more, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Dracoths have just got to carry a little bit of armor on their front and
random
the Stormcast on top. Stormcast fairly heavy, but you know.
This is where like we've got a whole misconception of them being really heavy, and their like armor's made of aluminum, and they're really light.
I mean, yeah, maybe we don't know what metals they use. Yeah, that's true. Is it even metal at all? It could be using something else.
Just tinfoil.
Like a little bit of finish on it. Yeah, tinfoil maybe. Wouldn't surprise me with the Cities of Sigmar. They come up with some pretty wild ideas. So Luke's just making sure that he's got a clear line of sight from the edge of his Luminarch there to the frigate without hitting his Dracoths.
Doesn't want those D3 mortal wounds in general going on there.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to unpick the Dracoths really is with mortal wounds, and John doesn't have a lot of that. The Fulminator's a 2-up save, rerolling 1s against shooting. So yeah, they're really tough enough for John to crack. So Luke doesn't want to help him get rid of those Fulminators, especially given how much damage they do in the list as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking dicey for John now, I have to say. 1 boat left, a couple of units of Arcanauts just holding on in the backfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luke's going to struggle to get over there in time, depending on how priorities go. I mean, he's got the Fulminators to get into that bottom right objective.
I think
it looks like he's killed 2 there.
I think the benefit that Luke has here is he's still got a load of heroes on the board that will gain him more points on those objectives.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's very good. So, yeah, in this mission you score a bonus for having a leader on the objective, and also for taking it off your opponent. Is that right? You score a bonus for doing that, or it's just the?
I believe so.
Just the leader bonus. I'll have a check now. Was mentioned earlier, but we might have been wrongly informed. Right. Yeah. So if you gain control of an objective that your opponent previously controlled, you score an extra victory point as well. So that actually helps. That really helps bring Luke back into the game at this stage. If you can wrest any of those objectives off of John,
definitely,
in his home field, score that extra point, get the leaders on, will really help Luke push out that what I expect to be a bit of a victory point lead now.
He's only 1 victory point behind, and he's obviously got the rest of his turn to score these objectives. But as for John, he's only got the frigate and the Arcanaut unit over there. By the looks of it, he's charged the 1 left Arcanaut crew over here with a gyrocopter, and he might just have... I think he's only killed 1 Arcanaut company over here. So by the looks of it, John's only capable of potentially getting 2 objectives next turn.
Yeah, we'll see. So that gyrocopter going into the bottom is worth a go. They're not terrible in combat, but they're quite capable of killing 1 Arcanaut. So assuming that gyrocopter kills that one lone Arcanaut at the bottom, Luke will have that objective. If he doesn't, and John's lucky on the battle shock, he could. They both missed apparently, those 2 attacks with the gyrocopter. So John will be trusting battle shock, and I think this is it. Oh, that's a 6. He re-rolls. So I think he's used the where's he taking? Oh, it's over there. Okay. Yeah, so this is the big one. Oh, another 1 for battle shock. Look, so that Arcanaut lives there, and that means Luke doesn't take it off of John, so that's really important. The Fulminators failed that charge into the frigate as well, which is really big. 3 points to Luke.
3 points to Luke.
Yeah, that was some very lucky battle shock rolls from John there for sure. He'll be pleased with that. Means that he might be able to still get those points on the board this turn. Yeah, because that frigate will go down to the bottom objective, Luke's home objective now.
Yeah.
Just take that off there, score the extra victory point. The problem is he can't hold it though, so those fulminators will walk straight onto that objective, charge the frigate, probably kill it. And even if they don't, Luke automatically takes it off him and scores the extra VP for it. So
I'm wondering, because that objective on Luke's side near the fulminators, I'm pretty sure that's still owned by Luke because he's not
still Luke, yeah.
He's not
That's
had the
so
Argonaut company take it over. So it's whether he wants to give the extra point to Luke for taking it back by moving the frigate onto the objective and shooting the gyrocopter to try and gain that objective permanently. Well, he still captures that objective, but he might lose it in the combat.
Yeah. So I imagine we'll see John retreat that Argonaut out now. Yeah, there you go. So he comes straight out of combat, and then it'd be interesting to see what he does with this frigate. I agree. I don't think it's a good idea to go for Luke's home objective just because
it's only going to.
He could be banking on the double, but if Luke wins the priority, yeah, he's gone for it. If Luke wins the priority now, he'll charge straight into that frigate and take it back off John. So this is very much a play for the double, which I think is what John's got to do now.
He's just got to try and shoot for those points.
Yeah. But if John does get the double, it means that he can pick that frigate up, get it away from the fulminators, and put it down the other side of the battlefield where he needs to support and clear the gyrocopter off that side.
Yeah. The looks of it, he's weighing up to measure the distance to shoot that gyrocopter.
Yeah, definitely wants to do that. If you can get rid of that gyrocopter, it means the fulminators have to go over and deal with that one lonely Argonaut on that objective. So, which is not what they want to be doing at all. They want to go for the really juicy frigate that's down there at the moment. Yeah, not loads left for John to do here. We'll see the Argonauts at the top there. On his home objective, shoot into that gyrocopter. We're seeing the frigate now shooting into fulminate. Oh, this is into the gyrocopter, I think. Yeah, so Mark said that John's very much looking for the double, which I think is the right play at the moment. It isn't always the best thing to do, but when you're in these sorts of situations, it's definitely a thing to try and play for. So that's into the gyrocopter, and he's taking it off. So that's really important for John. We'll be happy with that.
That's one harasser down.
Yeah, definitely. So he's going to. We'll see if he can do it with the Argonauts. They're not great shooting. Pistols. They've got
4 wounds though.
That's true, and the gyrocopters don't have a great save either. So he's got the Sky Pike, which won't be doing anything. This will be the volley gun. There's 6 shots into there. Unfortunately, the Argonauts only really generally hit on 4s. And their wounding isn't great either, so it's really by way of dice that they get through units if they do at all. Okay, looks like he's used the reroll wounds triumph. Sorry, the gold for them there. Oh, and Luke's rolled a big 6 to save that gyrocopter.
Oh no.
He's done a few of those in key moments, actually. Don't know if you describe this as a key moment, but because he's still got the pistols left from the Argonauts, which is where most of their output comes from.
I want to see all these pistols just put like a swathe of bullets in this gyrocopter.
That's 13 there. The champion's actually got a triple barreled one, which is awesome. So
it's 4 wounds.
That's an extra shot. Yeah, that's
What's the save?
Has he got 1 left? I think he's got 4 up save. Yeah, 1 wound left from those. He rolled. He would have been unlucky there to lose the gyrocopter, but yeah, 1 wound. So I think John might be. Oh no, he didn't decide to charge with those Argonauts then. That's interesting. I probably would have gone for it, Try and charge them in, finish them off.
Oh.
And we've got a big priority now. So looks like Luke's blue and John is red. John will really be needing this.
You can see how twitchy Luke's fingers are.
Yeah.
He's slowly doing it now.
Oh no, John's rolled a 1. Oh, Luke's rolled a 1. Oh, look at that. So yeah, that does mean that Luke has the choice because he wins ties.
It's
So let's see what they're thinking. Isn't it?
I want to cry at that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think that's punishing for John. We'll see what they decide to do. They quite a common thing to do, particularly in more casual games when you're on TTS and in life. If we ever get back to that, well, we'll get back to that stage soon. But it seems like an age ago since we played real tabletop Warhammer. But quite a common thing to do is to if both players think that the game's over, you might give the if the game's over in a situation because of priority, a player might give it to their opponent just to continue the game and see how it would have played through another way, just so players have get that experience, the game on the table. Because the worst thing that can happen really with a game of AOS or anything really is you spend all that time setting up with your models and play a turn or two, and it's a foregone conclusion then.
Yeah. I think Luke's taken the turn.
Looks like he has taken the turn.
He's going to try and shut down that frigate.
Yeah,
he's definitely going to shut down that frigate.
Yeah, and he's moved that Luminarch on just to score that extra point for the leader as well.
Let's hope the frigate survives this one round.
Yeah, I see. It'll be tricky with those fulminators. They're quite capable of dealing enough damage to kill that frigate, although they didn't last time at the top, so you never know. Backed up by some shooting, though, I'd expect them to.
Definitely.
So Luke's going to be scoring 2 for the objective that he had already, with a hero on it, and then he'll be scoring 3 for the one that John's currently got a frigate on. 1 for the objective, an extra 1 for taking it off him, and another 1 for having a leader on it. So that's 5. Was it 13-10 after Luke's turn, minimum?
It's definitely going to be an interesting turn. Oh, it looks like he's in the shooting phase already.
Yeah, straight into it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure all of these Luminarchs and Hurricanums are wizards.
The Hurricane definitely is.
We've got a Chonk in the room. He's just doing chonky thing.
Ah, bless him. It's been quite quiet up to now. Been good.
He doesn't like Luke, you say. He sees the victory from Luke, and Chonk's like, I don't about that.
I mean, we all feel like that, really.
Exactly.
You know, I'm getting a bit worked up seeing Luke win. It's not what any of us want to see, really. So yeah, the Luminarchs aren't wizards. I'm sure the Hurricanum is. Oh, I see. So you can have them with
these
on top.
They're like
They
the
cost more.
Phoenixes.
Yeah, so you can have them with and without the heroes, essentially. So he's got the choice. Gyrocopters doing some work into those Arcanauts. 3 dead from the Gyrocopter.
Oh
Yeah, looks like they're all taken off now.
Oh no, this is not good. This is not good. So there's no
that poor Arcanaut down there is that one's dead as well.
Just the one model left of John's army, which is the frigate. Can he do some Tokyo Drift shenanigans with this?
Might be able to. It's difficult because if as long as Luke doesn't have damage to that frigate, it can't fly away. It can't fly high and redeploy on another place in the battlefield. So yeah, it's looking sticky for John. We might see the end here of
this one charge.
John's quest.
He only came down here for like some sugar and spice.
I know.
All the Kharadrons too. They just go looking for spice and sugar and tea.
They probably just saw the gyrocopters, thought, have a bit of a drive-by,
Have a little
sort of
drag
thing,
race.
and then all these Luminarchs and Hurricanums turned up with some Fulminators and ruined the party. And that's what they've done. Prime dropped down. It was, a very different situation.
It's like a police brigade coming after you.
Yeah, it's like John's party's been raided.
How dare you fly in our space?
Yeah, so Luke's fairly confident that this frigate will
It's
go
on
down to the
4
Fulminators.
wounds. 4 wounds remaining.
Okay.
Off
That's
it's on.
it.
This game.
That's it. So yeah, I think that's game. I'm sure. 12 damage gone into that frigate, so it's very dead.
So, everything is dead.
So everything died. Yeah, we
Dead.
that happened very quickly as well.
The end of the valiant story of the wonderful, brave Luke against the horrible, dreaded KO, and he came out on top.
No, you've got that the wrong way around. It's the horrible.
Oh, wait,
dreaded.
you're right, it is the other way around.
Yeah, it's horrible dreaded Luke against. Yeah.
It was,
I wouldn't say brave KO, but anything. Insert army here. That's.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that was the narrative Luke was trying to arrange in his head.
Yeah, you can see Luke just theoretically scoring up how many points he'd get if he went through.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing now. And then I would have got
just to rub it in.
Points.
Just to rub it in. But yeah, this. I think this is. I played a similar list with my KO before, and this is basically how it turned out. I think Luke did very well to push through that side of the out of that bottom corner and get the board presence back mid game. Did a very good job of that. Was unlucky not killing that frigate in the turn that he came down, but I think it was the right choice actually going into, because we were thinking that the Fulminators in that third turn when he got priority he might kill the frigate and the engine master that were tying them up at that point, shoot them and then move them around the back. But going for the ironclad was a good call, I think.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
As Luke stopped parading you yet?
No, we were just double checking what
What the final score would be.
18-11 to Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. How did you both feel about the game?
It was good fun. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, I say
It's
one of
like
the
lovely.
highlights.
You don't have to say that, John. If you're under duress, just...
No, I did. Luke, he gets a lot of flack, but he's actually a really good opponent and a lot of fun.
I think if you got the turn into 2, it would have definitely been a different game.
Yeah,
Yeah, depending on how I rolled.
Because I didn't roll as much damage as I probably should have in when it
Or
happened.
if the-
Oh, it was a terrible
Or if the
turn,
spell
yeah,
on the
when it
bottle
came down.
survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been awful because you would have hit me with full power.
Yeah, because I would just turn around and fired at you with everything.
But yeah, it's a Living Cities to KO's obviously a great. This kind of list is great matchup, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
yeah,
just
well,
that-
I can't re-roll mortal wound saves with just boats.
Yeah, that's true. It's that targeted damage, isn't it, Luke, that you can bring to bear where you need to. So there's quite a few fragile characters in the KO list, isn't there? And being able to blink wounds off those boats and stop them flying high is really, really important.
Yeah, it's very hard to kill the Fulminators with a shooting army as well. They just keep healing and.
Yeah, are they
Try
2 up
hard.
save for rolling 1s to shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, impossible, basically, for you to get through, John. Just with the boats anyway, so...
Can we talk about that great coup de grace to the Celestin Prime that just got all up in the frigate's face? Can we just
Yeah, I had to kill him because if I didn't kill him, then he could have come and got my frigate. So I was hoping for some double turns towards the end. Unfortunately, I didn't quite.
Yeah.
But I killed him, and then I was just outside of range for the Fulminators to be able to get to me easily.
Yeah.
But I mean, then he'd got the turn, then he won anyway.
That's another one where I keep rolling all those turn rolls in my favour.
Yeah.
You do make a habit of that, though. You need to stop it.
It's AOS though, isn't it? It's one of those, well, if not the most important role in in the game, those rolls. So
Yeah.
to win those sets you up well.
Okay.
Yeah. So well, thanks for the game again. That was good just to see the different kind of matchup on stream, see how it goes.
Yeah, thanks for that.
What
Hope you guys, was it all right watching and talking it through?
It was great watching. There was so many like little points of like this lesson prime. We're talking about the warp lightning vortex, and it was heartbreaking for it not to get dropped.
We found a lot of time talking about that, and didn't
digging it up. It'll be all about this
Yeah.
warp lightning, and it's gone. It's gone. It's not
It was
even gone.
like the saber tusks from last game.
The problem is that if it went down in the first turn, it's just not doing anything.
It wouldn't really do anything. It would have killed a couple of free guild and maybe done some wins to those gyrocopters that are invincible. But no, I had to save it. I had to save it and see if I could do anything with it later. But unfortunately, the chemist went down.
Star of the show though, gyrocopters are pretty tasty, aren't they?
MVP.
Tasty.
They are great. They are absolutely brilliant. 70 points each as well.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Zero. What the hell?
The bombing run as well, hitting every unit is.
Yeah, it's very good against KO, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is the Luminarch. Also really good against KO.
Suspiciously good.
Interesting, Matt. You know what's also good against KO?
We'll have to let the viewers pick a matchup. Force them to pick my army.
Definitely.
Oh, that does sound like a good idea. Yeah.
There has been a few questions about Luminef and all the new models coming into TTS and whether we'll do some games of it. I'm sure we will at some point. Luke's probably going to be the guy that plays them because they're pretty powerful. And Luke, we all know what Luke's like.
I think, we're planning to do Trogs and Spiders next if anyone's interested in that one.
Oh, one of the viewers says, Cheetah, rigged game to Luke. From
That's the only way
Adam
to
Mumford.
play, guys. That's
That's Warhammer.
But overall, it's a great game. Thank Dan, John, Mark, and Luke again for bringing the TTS bat rep. I don't think we've had an in-person bat rep with Phil and Jack this week, so hopefully this will suffice until next week. But again, really nice game, really fun. Some stuff happened that I didn't expect. Some stuff that I did expect. And crying in a corner, I'm going to do now because Luke shouldn't have won. But
obviously, this is how you table KO, the powerful army, with a tailored list.
Oh, you monster.
he admits it. Look, there we go. You heard it from his mouth.
But we'll see everybody else next time, and thank you again for everyone joining this bat rep. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I'm not exactly the best of this technology stuff. But again.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, I'll see you, hopefully see you again on the next one.
Yeah,
You will lose the next one. Cheers all. See you. Bye.
This video is made possible by our patrons. If you want to know more about how to support us, click on the link to the right.